Hey everybody, welcome. Hope you all are having a really fantastic. What day is today? What day is today? I'm losing track. I'm losing track. Today is Tuesday, the 21st of December. It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. What I'd like to do today is I'd like to take a look at your equities markets. I want to take a look at the S&P. I want to take a look at Nasdaq. I do want to take a look at Bitcoin. If there's any requests, I'll try and accommodate those. I've got about 15, 20 minutes here. Again, I'm doing all this live. And if you need access to our Discord, feel free to go to bitdoctor.org. You'll find all the information on there. We've had a lot of really great trades today. We had a 100% overnight trade, actually hit almost 200%. And then we played SPY, we played the Qs. We've had a really, really fantastic day today. Before I get into any of this, of course, as you all know, this is not financial advice, not your financial advisor. You're responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your own research, and I'm just giving my opinion on the market. So let me go ahead and get the chart up here. This is our, I've got some bond futures that I've been paying attention to on here. I think bonds getting ready to move to the downside, and they've actually been pulling back here a little bit. But anyway, what I want to do is move over to my other chart on the hourly time frame, and let's start by taking a look at the S&P. So I'm going to take a look at SPX here. So really interesting movement on the chart. I actually think we're probably going to see a little bit higher movement. What we're actually seeing here, and just kind of looking left, we have chewed through lots and lots of resistance. So where we're at right now, it looks like we're going to have an area of resistance here at about 46, 48. A couple things that I do want to point out. And there's a reason why I'm looking at SPX and not the S&P 500 futures. We've got a great buy signal that happened down here. We had the 1 hour, the 3 hour, both in oversold at the same time. And this was, later in the day. And later in the day is when I decided I was going to take some calls. And that obviously paid out pretty well. That paid very well. We had a little bit of a pop at the open, had a little bit of a pullback. We did not gap fill, but we did try and move towards the gap fill from where we fell back on, well, what was that, last Friday, right? Where we had last Friday, then we had a big gap down, and we've had a really good recovery. And because of this, I actually think we're going to see higher prices going into Christmas. Of course, if you remember, I was talking about shorting NDX, right? And I'm going to talk about NASDAQ here in just a little bit. I miscalculated that short by 1 day. And I'm going to talk about that here in a second. But again, looking left, because I think it's important, I'm going to move to a 2-hour time frame here. I'm going to take a look at these important support and resistance levels and just talking about this a little bit, because it's going to really identify what we're going to be looking at moving forward. Again, I do believe that SPX continues to move higher. I think that it's going to probably move up at least until tomorrow. Then we'll kind of judge from there. Our waves, and I'm on a 2-hour chart here. The 2-hour looks great. The 3-hour looks great. The 1 hour, it still looks okay. The 1 hour still looks okay. We are not in an overbought state, even though we've had this big move up. A lot of people are kind of in denial, like, getting back into that psychology where they want to short and they're getting heavy short. I tried shorting and it didn't work out because, again, my timing was off. But now, I've been making lots off of calls today and yesterday, and so far so good. Things look really great. Yeah, the 12-hour, or really the daily here, it's moving down, but for right now it looks like it wants to just keep on moving up. Okay, so worst case scenario, we're in a bit of a bull flag. Okay, if this is an A, B, C, we go up for the D, potentially up here making a lower high, and then we go down here, we create a higher low, the E. Well, this sets us up for a really significant move to the upside. Okay, you can see this, right? If this is going to be creating a bit of a flag going into January, that's going to set us up for a very explosive year. But now that we've got a dominant pivot, what I do want to pay attention to is an important trend line that has been created. And that's going to be this trend line right here. All right. So be cautious, be careful, be cautious. We now have two trend lines that are going to be converging on each other at some point here in the future. So this D is, maybe it's going to come all the way up here to this trend line. Maybe it won't. Maybe it won't. We'll have to just kind of wait and see. I think we're in this area of consolidation. Honestly, it would be okay for us to come back down here before we see a move higher. How high are we going to go? All right, so let's just talk about these important levels. This level right here is going to be pretty important for me. And again, I'm looking left. That level has support here, support here. We've got resistance below it. Then I guess maybe the better level is going to be that level right there. That's probably a little bit better at about 46.75 versus 46.67. But I'm just seeing a lot of support and resistance flips. Here's resistance, here's support. We tried to get support here, then we reclaimed that as resistance, and then that caused the big push down. Now we're trying to grind back up, and we've had a really great day. I've done a roll up on one of my trades going into tomorrow, but really we need to maintain a little bit of momentum moving upward here. I'm telling you, if tomorrow we see something that looks a little bit like this, where it goes up quickly, well, then I bet we're just going to consolidate up here, and then eventually we're going to break out. It would actually be a little healthier if we got a little bit of a pullback and then we can go up higher. I would actually almost prefer that. Let's go ahead and move over to NASDAQ. But again, S&P, I do believe we're going to see a movement a little bit higher. So let's move to NDX. This right here it looks so much different than the S&P does, right? So SPX, let's just take a look at this high here and this high here. And actually futures did poke up and make a new all-time high. This was back on the, the 16th. On the 16th, it did actually make a new all-time high on the S&P futures. But the actual paper trading hours did not make a new high. But just pay attention, because I'm going to flip over to NASDAQ. The chart looks so much different. We barely made a move higher, right? And if I go to the NQ chart, we'll take a look at that here in a second. But for right now, again, we had the same thing. The 1 hour, the 3 hour, both in oversold at the same time. The daily is starting to compress. Okay, so I'm going to open this up a little bit here. So you can see the width of both of our waves on the red wave is wide, and it's starting to compress. They're starting to converge on each other, which gives me a little bit of a bullish bias. I do believe NASDAQ, the Qs in particular, are probably going to move up about to this level right here. So this is going to be about 16,132. This is on NASDAQ, right? 16,132. Next level is going to be 16,339. Now, what does that correlate with? I said I wasn't going to go to futures, but I am going to go to futures because this is what we were talking about constantly over the last couple weeks. I said, watch December 17th. What I actually should have said, hindsight's 2020, but I had been talking about December 17th for a long, long time. It ended up being the 16th. That is an unfortunate part of trading. It is something that you just have to live with. I was wrong by one day. I actually expected an overthrow here. So I tried to long, trying to get that move up on the 17th. That did not work out well for me. And it's just the way that it works sometimes. It's the way the cookie crumbles. Because I did expect a move up here. I thought that, okay, well, once we got to this median, we were going to find some support there and we were going to move up. That is not obviously what happened. But nonetheless, I think we're going to find ourselves back up here, at least at the bottom of this at 16,125. More than likely, it's going to come up here to 16,280. I believe that's probably where it's going to go. Then I actually think we're going to come back down here to create a triple bottom on NASDAQ at about 15.5. If we get down here to 15.5, that would be a really great place to be buying. At least getting into TQQQ or SPXL, something along those lines. I think that's probably a good place to be getting into something like that. Okay, let's go ahead and move over into Bitcoin. We'll keep this nice and simple, to the point. On Bitcoin, we actually did have a little bit of a breakout. We're starting to do a little bit of a retest. Again, we were talking about this yesterday. All right, we've got two trend lines that we were watching. We've got this guy, which didn't really honor this wick down below. But then when we moved it down, we had a little bit of an overthrow here. We really did pretty well with this pivot down here. So we talked about this potentially coming down here, but what actually ended up happening, we broke out of this. So as long as we stay above this trend line, I think Bitcoin is going to be somewhat bullish. The 12-hour, we talked about this. This is why I became bullish. The 12-hour on Bitcoin has crossed bullish all the way down here at the bottom. You have the 1 hour, the 3 hour, and the 12-hour all in basically oversold conditions all at the same time. And from there, that's a recipe for a movement to the upside. And that's exactly what happened. So I turned on a bot down here when we got to these prices, and I've basically been trying to play arbitrage on the volatility all the way up, and it's been actually performing very, very well. If you want information on the bot that I use, feel free to go to BitDoctor.org. You can sign up for either the free Discord or any of our insured plans. If you need access to our indicator, that's available on there as well. So all of the things that I use in all of my trading are going to be available. But this looks like it could be setting us up for the potential for a triple bottom. But really, what we need to do, if we are going to move up to that 52, 53 target that we've been talking about for a long time, we have to break up above this pivot high right here. We have to make a new high. We haven't done it yet. We have not done that yet, okay? So at about 49.5, we need to get up above that because we've got a high, then we have a lower high, then we have a lower high. We're trying, but we still have a lower high here, even though we've broken out. Like certainly there could be a trade to be made here at about 48,000. But we've got to go up higher. Then we're going to go to 53 to 54, somewhere in that area. That, again, is the same place that I've been talking about for weeks now. It seems like weeks. Has it been weeks? I've been talking about it since back here, about the 13th. So it's been about a week, maybe a little longer than that. We've been talking about this, going up to 52 to 54. If we get there, that's where I'm going to be moving to cash and maybe opening up a low leverage short position. All right, well, I've got just a couple minutes here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at a couple stocks that are interesting to me right now. One of them is Tesla. Tesla did have a bit of a push down, but we have the 1 hour, the 3 hour, and the 12 hour, actually the daily, all in oversold all at the same time. I think Tesla is going to make a serious push up here in the coming days. I think Tesla is a great buy below 900, which it was at earlier today. It went all the way down to, I think it was like 889. Is that where it went? It went to 886. Buying below 900 on Tesla seems to be a good buy right now. What I see, of course, obviously we fell down out of this trend line, but let's just go ahead and throw a channel on this just to see if we can make some sense out of this. I'm going to get the high here, move it out, and then we've got this guy right here where we had all of these bottoms. We had I guess I'll call it a bear trap. If we can close inside of this channel, I see no reason why we can't come back up to 1,000, maybe 1,015. This would be potentially by Christmas. So again, one day at a time. But there's potential for Tesla to really make a serious move to the upside. And if the S&P is going to move up and maybe even start making some new highs, Tesla is going to be one of the driving forces behind that. Because again, the S&P 500 is driven off of, just a handful of stocks. Apple being one of them. Is Apple going to go to $200? I think it's very possible that it does. Again, the 1 hour, the 3 hour, all in oversold, all at the same time. Yeah, the daily is moving down, but Apple is something that has just been a bullish stock. So down here, we had a buy. That was down here at about 168, 169. That's when we had our buy signal. And right now it's sitting at 171. Is it going to make its way up to 200? Maybe. But if it does, you better believe that the S&P is going to be carried by Apple. What about Amazon? Amazon looks very, very strong today. At the beginning of the day, it looked pretty weak. But back here, we had the 1 hour, the 3 hour, and the daily, all in oversold, all at the same time. And that was a great place to be buying. Back here, we had the 1 hour and the 3 hour, and the 12 hour was just kind of hanging out, but this was still a great place to be buying. And then, we had a little bit of a bullish cross on the 12 hour on that big red candle at the open. And now we're sitting up here at 3,400. It went from about 33.10, 33.16, all the way up to 3,400, all in a matter of just, a few hours. So ultimately, Amazon Next level that I would say is going to be of importance to me is going to be it's going to be about right here at about 34.68. So that right there, if we can push through this level at 3,400, maybe 34.08, the next level of importance is going to be right there at 34.68. If it can push up above that, my next level is going to be right here at about 34.9. It's going to be basically 3,500. After 3,500, the next level is going to be at 35.60. So those are the levels that I've got on Tesla right now. I'm sorry, Amazon. Probably can find some intermediary levels in between there, but these are the important ones that I see right now. If Amazon can push up above that, again, S&P is going to be carried by these big jumbo stocks. Let's see here. Google. What does Google look like? Very strong today. Again, very similar to Amazon. Pushed down. We had a buy signal. Let's see. This was yesterday. We had a buy signal down here at about 28.18, and now we're sitting at 28.70. So this also looks. It looks pretty good. It looks like we've got a nice correction, and here nice ABC, and from here we have a little ABC. This looks like a nice and complete correction. So let's measure it. Let's see. Dominant pivot high, dominant pivot low. We get the pullback. We didn't quite make it to the 100. Are we going to get down there? That's possible. Possible. But all in all, this looks pretty good as well. All of these things are going to cause SPY to continue to move higher. Let's look from an internal retracement on SPY really quickly here. So we've got this high, we've got this low. We are above the 50, so the next level is going to be the 618. That's going to be right there at 464. Again, looking left at the 618, what do we see? We see a lot of really important things here. First off, lots of clustering. For an entire day, it lasted right here. We've got some support here, support and resistance flips here. We've got support, strong support here. Look at the buy right off of that. Then we have resistance here, support and resistance here. So if we come back up here, it's probably going to get a little bit of a rejection. I'd love to see a push up and a retest, and then we go up here to the 786 at 468. These are all things that I'm looking at right now. That's the S&P, that's NASDAQ, that's Bitcoin. Taking a look at a couple different stocks, they all look okay right now. There's no reason to be super bearish. I will say you have to be cautious because it's a short week. Theta is going to be not in your favor this week because of the shortened week, and now it's already Tuesday, so there's really only 2.25 trading days left this week. So you just have to be very careful if you're taking any trades on options for this week's expiration. So just keep all that in mind. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Again, if this video did help you in any way, shape, or form, you know the deal. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. If you need access to our Discord, you can find all that information on BitDoctor.org. And we have a coupon code for brand new members, New Year 2022, that you can use on checkout. That'll give you a discount on your first month's membership. And of course, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day, a good night, and a good evening. Take care, everyone.